Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram, and along with me is Bill Grunler. And this is the one you've been waiting for all week, analyzing the programming. What did I just hit?
Dude, we got no sound. I think going through your computer.
You're going through my computer? Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Hold on.
Son of a bitch.
Chorus, hold on. Yeah, I was the same thing. Chorus, the same thing. Like, I could hear the music playing, but it wasn't as it was supposed to play. Yeah, we got to have the sound.
And let's do that one more time.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear it?
Now I hear nothing.
Oh.
I don't even hear the voice. Unless you're talking about my voice.
You hear me?
I don't hear you.
You don't hear me?
Nope.
No, son of a gun.
Nope.
No?
Oh, how about this button?
How about that button? This button? Yes? Who can hear me?
I can't hear Chase. Why do you guys get to hear him?
Oh, well,
I want to hear him.
Well, then this is a you problem. Look at your settings, bro. What are you listening through?
I hear nothing.
All right, raise your hand if you can hear me. Yes. Well, Bill, they can hear me.
You guys are lucky. How come you guys get to hear? Do you guys hear me?
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
Dang it. How come you guys hear everything and me and Chase are like in opposite rooms now?
Okay, go to settings. Move. Can you hear me? This is off to a great start.
Damn it.
This is on. Everybody can hear me. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes. Dude, what happened? I can't hear you at all. How come they hear us?
Guys, I swear we're professionals. Now can you hear me? Talk, Bill. I hear you. Oh.
I just need to yell east.
I mean, I can hear you. I don't know why you can't hear me. All right, hold on.
Maybe me and Chase should just text back and forth. We'll talk to you guys and we'll text back and forth.
No.
Now
you still can't?
Do I need to open up YouTube on my phone and listen to us on a delay?
No. Hey,
yeah, I'll leave. I'm going to leave.
You leave.
I'm going to leave. And then I'll come back. Okay. Yes.
Come back.
This is Masters. Welcome to Masters Internet right here. Where's my AOL? I need my Netscape and my AOL. What the hell?
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm back. I'm leaving. I'm coming back. Bye.
Okay, goodbye. Say bye, Bill. My goodness. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. All right, let's see. Moment of truth.
I hear things.
You hear things?
I hear things.
Yay. Wow, what a shit show.
And hit it. The files are in the computer. They're in the computer.
My goodness. Sorry, everyone. Welcome back, Bill.
Oh, hi. Thanks.
How is that AOL dial? Yeah. All right, everyone. Welcome to Get With The Programming. We are going to analyze the programming of the 2022 quarterfinals. They just completed, I guess, Sunday. Scores are not officially official until Friday. Before we do that, I just posted on my Instagram my morning Bubs routine. So if you guys wanted to take a sneak peek behind the scenes of what my Bubs routine is, they got a little 60-second video out there for them. And fun fact, Bill, they brought the old style, their original MCT oil powder is back. Remember there were some supply chain issues? It's back.
The old supply chain issues.
Where you can just put in your coffee, you can watch it. You ever do that where you put your MCT oil powder and you just like watch it like expand up? Yeah. So that's back. So that's awesome. Yeah. So go to bubsnaturals.com, use the code GetWith20. It's the only, there's a lot of 20% off codes out there, but you guys know which one to use. GetWith20 is the one you guys need to use for Bubs Naturals. And then while you're at it, go to element26.co. That's .co, not .com. Thumb tape, which I have right here, which I needed because I was practicing some Masters 70-pound dumbbell snatches yesterday. And instead of rubbing my thumbs raw, this little guy came in quite handy. Or thumbedy yesterday. Get it? Because it's thumb tape. Sorry. And while I was doing that, I videoed my wattproof on my wattproof app to just make sure all my reps weren't complete dog shit. Like about 100 people's reps were apparently, according to CrossFit's scoring
100.
adjustments, which we will touch on a little bit towards the end of the show. But get it on video and make sure your reps aren't crap, or else you'll lose some time.
Well, and not only just making your reps look like crap or making sure that people can see if they look like crap or not, but you can get yourself moving better by using their Get Bionic. It's $19.99 a month, and it is a pure setup that will make you move better. It checks out what your moving ability is currently, and then sets up a whole daily routine for you to get better by the end of the month. And every month it checks you out to see if you're just getting better. So geez, oh man, I wondered if we were going to hear some sort of a Will Smith sort of something, but
I'm gonna jump ahead real here. I'll let you finish the read here, but we will be talking about that as soon as we're talking about
okay.
the
All right, so real fast, Get Bionic. That's a $19.99 there a month, or you can get with their Pro Pack, which is $9.99 a month. And in that Pro Pack, you have access to all their 12-week programs. I have one of mine in there, and actually, I had an athlete that went from checking that out to jumping on my legacy program with Anita Weiss. So that's super cool that she's on there. So check it out. If you have a hole, the Wattproof app can fix that and help you shore it up. So if you had a short somewhere, either in the Open or in the quarterfinals, get better for next year, and then just become better.
All right. Before we get to the programming and the penalties, and a big "I told you so" from me when we get there. Did you watch the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing? Did you see that video?
I didn't see it when it happened. I woke up to all the memes and I'm like, what the heck? And then I saw what it was. And I to this moment, I just think that it was some sort of a publicity thing. I mean, it's all the talk is that it's not. I just can't see that going down like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Did you see what a wreck Will Smith was after that?
No, I did not watch the show. I didn't
watch the show either. I just watched clips of it. Like, I didn't even know the Oscars were happening, which Oscars are garbage anyway. So
that's what I'm talking about. They had to do something to get people to come back and watch it. What's going to happen this year?
Here's a list of movies nobody wants to watch.
Right.
There you go.
So what's more important? Let's go get one of the biggest names in acting right now to smack the face of one of the biggest comedians in comedy right now to bring everyone back to the Oscars or to see the rewrites or whatever. I don't know, man.
Bro. I don't think in any way that was staged, and I thought it was like the most bitch move I've ever seen from a grown man.
Which part?
Will Smith.
Okay. What was
Chris Rock? Chris Rock had the most like G response ever. He just took that shit and just kept going.
All I have to say is the way that slap was prepared was a very non-athletic looking dude.
That was the most unathletic thing I've ever seen Will Smith do. And I watched Bad Boys too.
Hey, Bad Boys and I Legend and Muhammad Ali. Like, did you not learn anything in the practice punching and that? Like, what the heck?
I mean,
but I don't know. Look, if it was legit, and the whole thing was not staged and it was all real and whatever. If I wanted to make a point, like everyone would have heard Chris Rock say whatever joke he was going to say, and then it would have died off. Then backstage, you fucking light the dude up. That's what I would have done. Not this little bitch slap in front of everybody. Because now everyone's going to talk about the joke. Everyone's going to talk about what was said, and that is now planted. That's planted. Yeah.
But why don't you feel like you even need to light someone up for a bad joke?
I think it's the whole, like, I'm coming to the protection of my woman, which is cool. Like, I'm all for that. But what you do is nobody stopped Will Smith when he was going up there. Nobody wanted
what's going to happen.
Exactly my point. Like, here's the guy up on stage. The guy just made a very dark joke about someone's wife. And then that dude, the husband, then walks up. I mean, what do they think might happen? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't. There was no, and then it happened, and still everyone's just kind of hanging out, watching it.
Well, I think because Chris Rock.
Okay, we programmed that earlier, so we got 3 more minutes. Okay, all right.
I don't buy into the conspiracy theory that was staged because, like, for one, I don't think Chris Rock knew, and I don't know what people don't know, but like, I really don't think Chris Rock knows Jada has alopecia and would make fun of that on stage at the Oscar. There's no way he would do something like it. That is not roast worthy, right? I mean, that's like making fun of somebody that's like lost their hair due to cancer. It's like, you don't make jokes like that based off someone's ailment. And the fact that he thought he made a funny G.I. Jane joke, which by the way, Will Smith laughed at first. And then Will comes up on stage and like, in what world, as it Chris Rock, who probably is friends with or something,
right?
Will Smith, it's like, hey, this is going to be fun. We're doing some improv on the stage with, Will Smith, who's an actor in himself and can do the same thing. At no point in time did I think I'm going to get slapped by Will Smith. Smith.
I don't know. I mean, hey, believe me, man. Like, I'm all for, if you need to physically put someone down, you do what you need to do. But like that, it just seemed like the whole thing was staged. Like if I was going to make a point to not, it's not a matter of doing it to the world. It's a matter of doing it to, if he had an issue with Chris Rock, then backstage, like, you corner the guy and you light him up there. Like that's where you're going to do it. Like otherwise, if he was going to step on stage, he should have said something to jab him. Not like, I don't know, man. It's just stupid. People are dumb.
I don't think it's staged. And I think it was the most like bitch move I've ever seen. I've lost all respect for Will Smith. So I hope it's staged, because like Will Smith was one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, seriously.
But all right, let's get to the good stuff. We are here to analyze the programming of the 2022 individual quarterfinals. So we're going to go event by event, detail by detail, and work our way from event 1 down to event 5. Before we get event to event, what was your overall vibe and feeling of this year's quarterfinals?
Just in general, or compared to last year, or what?
Just in general. You can compare it to last year, but just like, how was it for you this year?
I really liked it a lot. I mean, a lot. I thought that the programming was appropriate. I liked the numbers. There wasn't any sort of like weird skewed number. It's like, what, 150 GH? Like, what the hell? There wasn't any of that. 180. Yeah.
Don't give him credit for 150. Right. That would have been fine.
I didn't have any sort of that. And honestly, as much as, and I still to this moment, I know that we've had discussions like when we talked about the Open. The Open still really perplexed me overall, because I liked the events individually, but I didn't like the overall programming for the test. That I had an issue with that.
Yeah.
So coming from that to this, I was like, I wish they could have taken a blend of the quarterfinals and the Open and made it the Open that way. Not that it needed to be 5 events or whatever, but like some sort of a blend, because I really liked this quarterfinal. I liked the events. I like the time domains. I like the weights that they used. I like the progressions of difficulties of movements. It is a massive increase of improvement over last year. And I honestly think a massive increase of improvement over what the Open was, even though I know that they're different tests and they need to, qualify a different genre of people, a different group of people. I still think that this is way more appropriate than the Open was appropriate for the Open. That's what I think.
Okay.
They did a great job.
Yeah. I overall, I would say hi to Bruce and the
Corys.
Bruce and the Corys. If you guys ever create
a trifecta right there.
You guys ever create a band? We just named it for you, Bruce and the Corys. I thought it was great. I wish I could have done them, because I suffered through the crap that was last year's quarterfinal programming, and this was so much better relative to what last year was. We'll get into the details of, we'll nitpick and armchair quarterback the shit out of this thing here for the next hour, but this was the hardest non-competition I've ever been a part of, because I've hurt myself in the Open, and I'd rather just save myself for Masters. Besides, like, there's no point in making what I have now even worse than it already is.
Yeah.
But they looked like so much fun and cool challenges that it was so hard to do it. There's actually one point where I'm going to say this was Thursday after they came out, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to be smart for the first time in 13 years. And I'm not. 13, 14, going on 14. Whew. 14 in December. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then I got worked on. So, you get worked on, you feel great.
Yeah.
And I somehow got in my car, went home, grabbed all my workout gear, and I was like, I can knock out 3 today and maybe 2 tomorrow because I was a solo dad for the weekend. I was like, I can get it done. And I'm halfway out of my driveway and I'm like, what am I doing? And then I just had to like restrain myself from doing it. So I thought they were pretty fun. So let's go through the programming. We'll go event by event. We'll go detail by detail. And at the end, we'll get a good overview of what went down. Let me pull up this tab. All right. So event number 1, we've gone through this a few times. 50 dumbbell walking lunges in that farmer carry gripped position. 30 regular handstand push-ups, 40 front rack walking lunges, 20 deficit handstand push-ups, 30 overhead walking lunges, and 10 strict handstand push-ups. Isolated lower body unilateral movement with weight, different overhead and hang positions, easier skill sets or sorry, more difficult skill sets on the handstand push-ups. I can't remember what our guesses were. I think it was we had some combos of strict and deficit in here, but I did not see this lunge combo with the handstand and push-ups coming just based off what the floor plans were.
I will say this. I like the setup of this. I didn't like the fact that they made them walking lunges like that without putting a distance in there. If you're personally, I think if you're going to put where you want the number of steps, then it shouldn't be walking. It should just be like, say, back step lunges or front step lunges to where you have to go all the way down and come all the way back up, because now, like, you can short what you're trying to do to make it a lunge. You know what I mean? Like, in the standard isn't like there has to be a 90-degree angle between your quad and your shin and your ankle and the ground. Like none of those things are there. So now you can do like this weird little curtsy thing if you wanted to shorten the distance, which does change the amount of distance that you have. And if you walk out, you know, on the first set of 5, so they have you do it in sets of 10. So you go down, back, down, back, down. Then you need to walk back. So if I shorten up that distance again, it's not that it's a lot. I mean, you aren't going to short it like a quarter mile or anything like that, but you are shortening the distance that you have to deal with. So I didn't like the fact that they made it that way. That taking that out, you know, they didn't have on the floor plan. It didn't have a you need to have a certain amount of distance or range or anything. So I thought that was kind of weird. But I like, but as far as what the event is, I like it a lot. I like the fact that it's dumbbells down, then it's dumbbells in the front rack, and then it's dumbbells overhead. I love the fact that as you get deeper and deeper into the event, it gets more difficult, more difficult, more difficult, more demanding, more demanding, more demanding. So that's the cream of the crop rises to the top. And these style of events are what these early qualifiers should be. Even in the open level, this, I think, was an awesome way to start it off, because you're right. The last year we had the quarters, it started off with strict handstand push-ups.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like right out of the gate, it was like, oh, how about this? There's the Will Smith slap across your face. And coming up, right across the face. And this right here is a much more correct setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Wad Zombie. We do actually. It's it's my PayPal is are we at our number yet for views? I feel like this is now
I gotta look on the views. I know we're up for
Wad Zombie, let us know if we've hit the Savon level of pay to play when you guys watch this show. So for me, I'm totally with you on the distance not being set for the lunges. I thought that was a really weird thing not to do, because for 2 reasons. One, I can't remember who said this, but like it makes athletes twist the lunge movement in an unnatural movement way to try to gain an advantage, because I'm going to be at a disadvantage being 6'2" versus someone who's going to be 5'6", and I'm already at a major disadvantage with a 40 by 24 inch box versus that short. Like, this is a total short man, short woman biased event. A shorty. Yeah. This is a
shorty pie.
And it seemed really weird, because now if I have to do steps, now I have to walk further. I have to do more work, where this would have been a nice balance if you just said 10 feet or 25 feet, what it's been in the past, right? 25 feet down and back, Well, I didn't see it. Hey,
Corey, hey, I'm 5'6", I feel attacked.
personal attack. Personal attack.
Well, I identify sometimes with being 5'6", so it's okay. And then other times I identify with being 6 foot, so it's all right.
Yeah, so when I spread my feet out really, really wide for burpees in dumbbells.
Right.
I'm with you, right? I love if they just had this as 25-foot sections, so you do 5 of them, 4 of them, 3 of them, which wouldn't have changed too much. I think this would have been a bonus of an event that I already
it
like.
cleans it up. Yeah, exactly. It just cleans it up. And this, I think the difference here,
it doesn't make people do shitty lunges too, right? Like people actually want to do bigger extended lunges than short, like cheaty,
which is going to be a more correct range of motion or element that you're trying to do. You're trying to do a unilateral step, a unilateral work on the one leg. So with that being said, when you do your little curtsy because you're trying to shorten it up, now it is not a unilateral work. And yes, that's right, Sevon. Take some
face,
of that.
Sevon.
Take
Don't
some of
tell
that.
me
The way I feel about this, it's almost like it's like when you're this is not me trying to like look down my nose on anyone, seriously, but like when you're teaching someone how to coach and you're teaching someone how to program, they'll come up with a really great idea, but then when it like you go to present that to the class, it's like you forgot, like what are you really trying to do? And you have all these people that are trying to figure out, all right, and again, in competition, you're always going to try to find the shortest line between point A and point B.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cheat, but I will cut whatever close, I will go right to the line to do the race. That's what a racer wants to do, is find the shortest distance. So on something like this, all of a sudden it leaves all of this room up for subjectivity and what it should really be. And it's going to make people now either shorten up that lunge, or they're not going to come to full extension as they're doing that step. Like they're going to be stepping through. It just is really weird. It's like it's a great event,
right,
without thinking all the way through on what it could have been, or what things will get messed up in it. That's the only thing it feels like. But I love the event. Love it.
And
love every part of it.
And it's not subjectivity. It's manipulation.
That's a better word.
People are going to manipulate the movement to gain an advantage, where if you just said, hey, 25 feet down for 5 sets, for 4 sets and 3 sets, then people are just going to go out and do lunges.
Yeah.
Right. And so it takes one little thing out of it. So I felt like that was an unnecessary piece. However, I'm totally with you. I like the event by itself. I'm shocked how fast some people went. One of the questions was thoughts on people swinging the dumbbells. They're talking about when they're at the farmer care and you lunge and they swing forward. Look, that's just I would say an athletic, athletic move. I have no problem with that whatsoever. You got basically 3 different odd object weightlifting squat movements with the lunges and the farmer carry, the front rack and the overhead, and 3 different pushing gymnastics with the regular kipping push-ups, the deficit kipping push-ups, and the strict handstand push-ups at the end. Time frame 6 minutes is what some of the best scores were around the world, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So that was event 1, and then we moved to event 2. And the wild thing here between event 1 and event 2, let me find this right here, was the times.
Yeah.
The times were nearly the same as far as the best athletes in the world. They're all around that 6 to 8 minute range. And this is the one where I didn't have the right rounds, but totality, I almost guessed this damn thing.
Right.
I had pistols. What did we settle on? We said 5 rounds of 20 pistols, 10 or 7 muscle ups.
I think we said 7.
27 and 20 for 5 rounds, which is 100, 35 and 100. This is 90, 90 and 30. So
yeah,
pretty good guess. The order is a little bit different than what we thought. Time cap's 15 minutes, which is, it's good for a quarterfinals. Look, 10%. They want to give an opportunity to play. What I like that they did here was obviously the volume is much more appropriate in GHDs and pistols than they had last year. It's kind of funny. This is 50% of the total volume they programmed last year. It's 180, and now it's just 90, which I am fully on board with. But this is a cool workout. This is a very cool workout, except for the fact that I still never wanted or thought they should ever program pistols in an online format. I have nothing wrong with the movement itself at all. I think it's a cool wrinkle. It's a great gymnastics wrinkle. But as far as in an online setting where you have one camera, which means you can only watch one leg at best. If you go it from the side, if you have it from the front, you cannot see any depth. And, we'll get to why I feel that way here in a second. But for the workout itself, if I'm just looking at it, the only hiccup I have here is that we went from single leg lunges to single leg squats in back-to-back events. That's my own stuff.
I love the workout. I love the way it's set up. I think that the numbers are appropriate. I think that the time frame is appropriate. Individually, I love the movements. I love how the GHD. It was really funny that people were making a big point of saying that the pistols were going to affect the muscle ups. I'm like, pistols are not going to affect your muscle ups that much. This is the GHD. Blasting your hips and the midline, the pop that you have in your hips, those hip flexors for your piking to try to really get up over the muscle. That's what's really gonna do it. However, the pistols will take your legs out of the GHDs a little bit because of what you have to drive with, so that little pop of the on the GHD. But that being said, I love the event itself. I do think it's very weird that we went lunges to pistols. Like even if they weren't back to back, it seems odd that they would pick two single leg, the exact same movements. I mean, basically, I like that. To me, doesn't make any sense. I'm really surprised that they did that. I mean, there's so many other things they could have done to make the same point. I don't know.
I think they could have just scrapped pistols altogether.
Yeah, totally.
That would have been a gnarly. I mean, imagine the failure you would see on muscle ups if it was just sit ups.
Totally.
Rings.
Blasting.
Boom, boom, boom. And that's when it's like, okay, now you do 5 rounds of less. And so the intensity is even higher. Do 5 rounds of 20 and 5 and watch what happens to people's rings muscle ups in round 4 and 5.
Or, okay, so you said the best times are like between 6 and 8, right?
Yeah.
So do this. Make it a 10-minute AMRAP of 30 and 10.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't have any AMRAPs in this at all. There was a couple that we had programmed.
I mean, everyone gets to play. That would be wicked. Oh my god.
Now you're talking. I like that. Yeah, so I'm looking at the time frames, your top 5. Yeah, 6 to 8 minutes for both. But yeah, so it's okay, so what are we saying? 10-minute AMRAP,
10-minute AMRAP, 30
GHD sit-ups and 5 muscle-ups.
Well, you could do that or just go 30 and 10.
30 and 10? True, yeah. 30 and 10. Either way, right?
Yeah.
A little back and forth.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I know myself when I program, I tend to fall into a lot of triplets. They're easy because you see that you can't,
bro. That's what it's all about.
Well, I know, but like I fall into doing more triplets than I do couplets. And what you don't really think about hammer to
that was last year, Will. That was last year.
If you do couplets, they are so much more like the intense, like the dramatic kick in the nuts that you get on a couplet. Like we just did one today in the gym here. It was 10 rounds of 10 wall balls and 10 chest to bar pull-ups. And everyone's great to round 5. And then everyone just gets kicked in the nuts. Everybody. So I think that would be super fun. A 10-minute AMRAP of 30. And even if you did 20 and 5, I think at least a 30 and 10, like it gives you the other movement just a little bit more rest.
So this reminds me of what we typically do after the quarterfinals, because we're a bunch of programming snobs, is our what do we call it? Reprogramming.
Yeah.
The quarterfinals, which we'll do.
Yeah.
But we do that for our Programmatron. So if you guys follow us on Programmatron or our Patreon, we do these little reprogramming series for our Patreon followers. So they got a $6 a month membership, and we basically shows like, what's our quote? There, fixed it.
Yeah.
There, fix it, which needs to be our coffee mug.
I know. Well, and then and I'm sure we'll probably get to the next part.
I almost had Rabdo. Have you ever had Rabdo?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know what those 3 were.
The very first one I got it, I didn't even know what Rabdo was. I did my first marathon.
Oh.
And I went into it injured and ran through it. got the whole flu-like symptoms that night. I was peeing black. I'm like, wow, I must be really dehydrated right now. Like, no, you got rhabdo. I had no idea. I drove home from, it was the LA Marathon. I drove home from LA up to San Luis. Ends up being about 2.5 hours after I spent the night at my brother's house when he lived down there. And I don't even remember driving home.
Oh, shit.
Like, it was nasty. Yeah,
Wow.
It was nasty. The next time they were more like compartment syndrome, like at the bicep. A lot of pull-ups.
Okay. Pull-ups.
A lot of pulling, and it just like to where if my arm extended all the way out, it felt like someone was taking razor blades to my.
Oh God, I hate that feeling.
But they looked good though, dude. I was pumped. Like my sleeves were all like puffy. Ah, dude, it was good. It was good.
Corey says, "Let that be a lesson, Bill. Never run a marathon."
Exactly, a one and done. I'm never going to do one again. Don't need to.
So your last two is something about that.
The last two were compartment. Yeah,
you're right. Shit, he gave us the idea.
That's true.
Well, we need the coffee mugs, because what we want to do is we want to make get with the programming coffee mugs, but then at the bottom there's at the bottom of the mug it says "They're fixed it," as if it fixed your day. So after a good cup of coffee. The only time I was close to rhabdo was actually doing. It wasn't exactly rhabdo; it was more compartment syndrome, and it was basically from bicep to my forearm. Is that it was a 1 max snatch day. This was probably a decade ago. So I was trying to hit 185 for the first time, and I think I failed for an hour, but I wouldn't quit. And so just that constant, pull and miss for an hour. I mean, I missed 30 or 40 attempts at this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't quit. And then the next day I was so trashed.
Dude, like, it's crazy. Like the compartments in a
line in my forearm that was raised up to the base of my bicep. So
yeah.
All right.
I'm telling you, but my arms look good though.
Yeah, the mine didn't. I just looked like I had like
your Popeye.
That wrinkly, what is this called? The weenus at the base of your elbow. I'm not making this up. I feel like that's what it's called. You know what I'm talking about? Basically, the nut skin at the bottom of your elbow.
I was just gonna say old man elbow. I don't know.
Old man sack elbow. I think it's called the weenus.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up.
All right, you look it up.
All right. So event number 2, we had 3 gymnastics movements. We had a pull. It's almost like a combo, right? Would you classify muscle as a pull and a push?
Yeah, totally.
Because I mean, I rarely fail the pull part, but I'll fail the dip.
Yep.
I'll fail the dip. And then you had pistols, which is a squat gymnastics movement, and then you had the GT sit-ups, which is a core gymnastics movement. So you had pull, push, squat, core. You basically had all 4 movement patterns, which either do it like this or don't do the lunges before. Like, I don't know what it was, but like this by itself, right? Go back to the open. Kick-ass workout.
Awesome. Totally.
I love it. But back to back, I think that is not a good back-to-back setup. All right, here it is.
Not even back, not even just putting it in there. Like
Venus or weenus is a slang word for the excess or loose skin at the joint of one's elbow, which is technically referred to as olecranal skin. You're welcome, everyone.
Oh, there you go.
Not that anybody needed to do that or know that.
I like put up Dan's elbow nut skin.
The official term, where is Dan's?
Hashtag elbow nut skin.
Elbow nut skin. All right, so that was event 2. As we move to event 3, so I'll pull this up. And what this was is that ascending pyramid chipper, so to speak, of wall ball shots, shuttle runs, and rope climbs. The wall ball shots went 8, 16, 24, 32, and then back down to 8. The shuttle runs went 4, 8, 12, 16, and then back down. And the rope climbs went 1 to 4, back down to 1. And when I look at event 1, and we had 150 lunges with 170 pounds on it. And then we go to event 2, which had 90 alternating pistols. And then we come to event 3, and then we have, I don't know, what's the total number of wall ball shots? Something like 120.
I think it's like 132 or something like that.
132.
It's kind of a weird number, actually.
8 plus 16 plus 24 plus 34. Yeah, you're right. 24 plus 16 plus 8. Something like 128, whatever. That's a lot of squats back to back to back to back, which I have no problem with wall balls or anything like that. But I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
we're really hitting below parallel. We're making up for what we didn't do in the open.
Yeah.
But as far as this event, I thought it was awesome. It was longer. We had a good blend of monostructural gymnastics and odd object weightlifting between the wall balls, the rope climbs, and the shuttle runs. And if you've never done shuttle runs as like a penalty in sports, did you guys ever do that in wrestling?
Not as a
Line
penalty.
drill,
We did.
suicide?
Yeah, we did do sprints, but it was not like really suicides or anything like that. We never did
Yeah.
anything like that, really.
But for adding this element, because this is supposed to be an element that they didn't have in the open, right? This was actually supposed to be in 22.1, which depending on how it was put in there, that would have been a much different test than box jump overs. Like box jump overs are pretty easy. But did you get to watch any of your athletes do this one?
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you
We
done this
ran.
one?
We made the class do it.
Now, I can't remember what your initial thought was on the idea of doing shuttle runs.
I thought it was dumb.
I thought, yeah, okay, so that's what I thought.
That was
After watching it, do you have the same opinion?
No. I think
Bear
that
crawl suicides. Oh,
ew. Wait, what kind of cheer group are you in?
dude, cheer athletics and all that, like tumbling shit, like that stuff is gnarly. Did you ever watch cheer?
Yeah, totally.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you
But,
saying?
like-
You know what they were doing.
Bear crawl suicides?
I mean, I used to do inverted bear crawl stair runs in football stadiums when I was in swimming.
Well,
Why? I don't know. But okay, so you initially thought it was dumb,
I
but
thought
after seeing it,
it's not that I thought it was dumb. I thought it just seemed unnecessary. It seemed like an unnecessary thing. Like you could have done the exact same thing with if there was like a rower in there, you know, and made that be the monostructural part. After watching it, it was like I still think it got extremely repetitive. Like you would see athletes that like had no idea where they were anymore because they're just like running around in a circle.
like, please tell me where I'm at.
Dude, totally. Like your judge has to be on it, which is it just kind of is what it is. I think that there's definitely I like the fact that they made a standard for it. Only because I think that they have a tendency to not make standards when they need to make standards, and they make standards when they don't need to make standards. So at least it was like, hey, you have to get completely across the line and touch the ground. Okay, cool. I get this. It's not about touching the line or can you get your foot stretched out to it or whatever. After watching it, it was like, oh, and what was crazy was it was actually raining here. So it was like you got to do a running workout without going outside to have to run. And I think what it did do is not that it was like, oh, see, that was I think that was perfect to do that. I think what it did is it opened up an option for programmers and coaches to go, oh, we can program some running into a workout without having to go out anywhere and be able to set it up. So I actually at the end, I thought it worked out pretty cool. I thought it was way more, way cooler than I expected it to be in the beginning.
Yeah. I only asked because I thought it was going to be cool. Even before it went down, and I was curious to see what your take was after seeing it go down.
I honestly, when in the current state of how things are being, if you go to throw something new that we've never done in, I just feel like, okay, here we go. We're going to fuck this one up too. That's kind of what I felt like.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, we haven't really experimented with this that much. I just think it's really funny when everyone's like, oh, see, I totally called it. We were going to do shuttle sprints. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
You called it. They were going to do. We've never, ever once done that. And it's never even been talked about or remotely conversed about for someone to go, oh yeah, totally. I knew it. Totally should have been. I knew it. They were going to have it. I totally called that.
We thought it was going to be handstand walks.
I thought it was going to be handstand walks.
I heard some people's opinions on what like didn't think there'd be handstand walks because there's handstand push-ups in event
Oh
one.
yeah,
I was
like
okay,
the lunges and the pistols.
so like the lunges, pistols, and wall ball shots that we just did back to back to back. That's
Right.
now,
Right.
so that there won't be handstand walks
Yeah.
in there. I loved it. I love this event in total, and I think this is a good balance out for maybe what happened in event one.
Yeah.
Because event one was total shorties. Event three,
Total tallies.
Yeah, total tallies. So my dislike for some of the nuances in event one, I think were actually balanced out in event two, except if you heard a rumor. Yeah, we all heard that rumor that shuttles were supposed to be in the open. I still didn't think. I'm not surprised shuttles came in there. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good addition for the 25-foot marker. But every 25-foot marker we've had in the open has either been handstand walks or
lunges,
dumbbell lunges. Like you could have thought shuttle runs could be in there. And yes, of any that you're looking at with the floor plans, it could have been in there. But now we know that floor plans really don't mean all that much because of what happened in event one and event four. But overall, you're looking at 13 to 15 minutes. So over double or right about double of the time frame of the first two. We have a triplet. We have the wall ball shot, which is a squat push odd object weightlifting movement. You have the pulling gymnastic skill of the rope climb. And then you have the monostructural element that is the shuttle run. And as you move from event 3 to event number 4, this is the one we nailed with you guys. All of you guys should be proud. I feel like we all came to this conclusion together live on YouTube when we were guessing the floor plans. I was a little uncertain that bench would be in there because it wasn't put in the floor plan. Again, I was looking at it more literally, and now I know that floor plans
don't mean anything.
So next time the floor plans outcome for team, I'm just going to start making
just add stuff to it.
I know they don't have a prowler in there, but I think it's going to be in there. But it was the other total. And the more, we wanted to see this actually, remember in 2020?
Yeah,
I know. CrossFit total for the third time in competition. Yeah. And I was like, come on, guys. This is the one that we wanted.
Yep.
And in my opinion, the CrossFit total, I think, is not the best total test for strength. I think CrossFit total is a meathead like strength test, where this one is more geared towards CrossFitters.
Yeah, this should be called the CrossFit total.
This should be, yes,
because this is CrossFit right here. I mean, it's not
CrossFit total.
It's not the weightlifting total or the lifting total. This should be the CrossFit total.
This should be like the other one. Just call it the total.
Yeah,
just call it the total. But if you want to say testing CrossFitters, clean, dynamic Olympic lifting, bench, meathead lift, have some fun. Overhead squat, that's a CrossFitter's strength test. Mobility, stability, positioning, strength, everything. You have to get the bar over your head to begin with anyway, so it's actually a 2-part lift than anything, right? My overhead squat is not more than what it currently is because I can't jerk that weight over my head anymore. I have actually never failed in a heavy overhead squat. I've failed the jerk to get to the heavy overhead.
Yep, totally. So, we did this. So since we had, one of our athletes was actually in the quarterfinals, so we made it to where I tried to get some of these in for the class, and we did this one. We had this one on Saturday, and it was so fun. It was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
The way we actually did it in the class was if you wanted to go for the total, you could go for the total. If you didn't want to go for the total, because some people are like, well, I don't want to lift just 3 times, and they play that game. It's like, well, you didn't lift that time. So what I did was, okay, so you get 10 minutes to do each lift, max reps at 60% of your 1 rep max.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so everyone got their thing in, dude. It was so good, man. It was so much fun. Everyone had a blast. It was awesome.
The football total is great too, though. Yes, and I believe it is deadlift, bench, back squat, clean. Let me look at
I think you're right.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But I like what you just said. Like, this should be the CrossFit total.
It was so fun.
Versus the let me see. Okay, so it looks like football workout, strength and conditioning. I didn't type that in right. Someone else. I shouldn't have done that. I like that. The other one to the total. There's a CrossFit football total. Oh, here it is. Football total, 1 rep max power clean. Okay, so specifying the power.
Yeah.
1 rep max back squat, 1 rep max bench press, 1 rep max deadlift. Yeah, and that's called the CrossFit football total. This one should be called the CrossFit total, and the other one can just be called the meathead total.
The total.
I'm just kidding. You can call it the total.
Totally.
I'm just poking the bear because that is the only people that are good at the total. Is gigantic. But I like this. I thought it was a good test, especially for a strength test. When you add all three together, this makes it much more of a wide strength test, and as opposed to something very specialized.
I think the big hook on this is the overhead squat, because you have, classically speaking, if you have athletes that can move, I mean, mass moves mass. And most bigger athletes that have been doing a lot of like old school lifting, they get pretty tight. That's why, like, when you get masters, I see masters guys on this all the time. They got these big old shoulders and big old chests because they've been doing bench their entire life. That's all they ever do. So they come in here, they're like, yeah, bro, bench. We're going to mash this out. And then they get them to overhead squat, and they cannot get the bar behind their head because they're so damn tight in the front, and they don't have that stability and that support. So they go from like a, 300-pound bench to a 145 overhead squat because they just can't get it, behind their head. So that I think the way these three movements are put together, it really does exemplify our CrossFit athletes. You're not just beastly strong at meathead strength. You have to be dynamically strong, and you have to be flexibility and stability strong, all of those things, which is, I mean, it just falls more into our 10 physical traits or characteristics when we're talking about fitness. It's awesome. It was so fun. If you haven't done it, it's super fun. Do it.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. This should be the CrossFit total.
Yeah.
Not the total or the other total. Okay, so we had let's say a pull from the floor with a squat for the clean if you decided to go parallel, which I probably wouldn't have because I don't like it.
Oh, dude.
We had well, yeah. Okay, so you did this.
Yeah.
So for all you guys watching right now, all 55 of you, God bless each and every one of you.
You guys are awesome.
56. Oh, keep going. Bill did this total. And what were your numbers again? Clean bench.
I got 290 on the clean. I got 275 on the bench. I got 290 on the overhead squat.
Placed at 285.
285 on the bench. That's right.
So you went 290.
I tried to hit the 300, but I like 280. It felt okay, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go to 300 because in my world, and this is when you lift, if you're gonna get close to 300, like you don't do 295 unless it's a competition.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole different thing. You don't do like 295 doesn't exist. So I was like at 285. I'm like, well, shit, I might as well just do 300 and try it. So missed it, ran out of time. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Fabrice has this question, and I believe this is what she meant. She says, would you have changed the order of the lifts? So the order had to be clean, bench, overhead squat.
No, I like it how it is. Why? I like it how it is. Because the clean, you can get your big explosive numbers out of the way. The bench, you get to test you bring your heart rate down, depending how hard you were pushing on the other one or anything, kind of bring all of that down to a very classic lift with the bench press. But it does pseudo taxes your stability. Which you need for the overhead squat. And so even though you're not really pressing, I mean, you're supporting, but it does at the same time kind of warm you up because more than likely you're not going to do the same weight in the overhead squat as you're going to do in the bench. So it really kind of warms you up for that next piece. So I actually like the order that it goes.
Yeah.
So it's super fun.
Totally with you. I like the clean off the bat. It gives you a good opportunity to have a fresh lift. Again, one more technical and dynamic. The bench is the bench. It's not really going to take away much except for that overhead positioning, maybe on the overhead squats. But I leave the clean and the bench together primes you better for overhead squats than anything else versus say going in reverse order. So I really like the order itself. A couple questions on here is the kettlebell pound confusion. I think that's something that needs to be cleaned up on the standard side when CrossFit releases these. I feel like they cannot communicate too much. Is I think our theme over the 2022 season. So that was the total, and we moved to the final event. Now, with our powers combined, we pretty much nailed this workout.
Yeah, totally.
So what did I have? I had for time Grace, 30 burpee box jump overs, and 30 cows on the row. Send it. You had, was it a 20-minute AMRAP?
Yeah, I had a this was my long
you went
one.
10 snatches, 20 burpee box jump overs, and 30 cow row. So with our powers combined, we're just going to say we guessed this damn one to begin with. For a finisher, the only thing I wish this was live.
Yep.
I wish, honestly, this, and we'll touch on this at the end, but like I think this was a kick
awesome. It was awesome.
Final.
It was awesome.
Perfect. The reps were perfect. Like this might be their most events 4 and 5. They nailed.
Yeah.
Even event 3, they nailed. Just the first 2 is our only little tweak this, and this might be one of the better programmed events I've seen come out of a quarterfinal, regional, semifinal stage.
Yeah, totally. It's I love the fact that they went the right weight. Like it should have been that heavy. You know, and then we like the girl that we had that was qualifying, like her one rep max, she just hit before she did this, which was 135.
No way.
So, you know, she had, I think she took like 6 attempts during and wasn't able to get one during, but she hit it beforehand. But again, like that is a movement that for her is not a very good movement, but it's appropriate. Like she should have been allowed into this group of athletes that were competing. And this is one of those lifts that, like, yeah, the good athletes, the top ones that are going to be qualifying to semifinals should be able to go full send on this. All of the other athletes should be like, I need to save everything I have for the snatches because that's really heavy for me.
Yeah.
So you have, I mean, 2 different avenues of what you're trying to go, but the weights were perfect. And even the 30 and the 20 was just enough. It was just enough to give those athletes that are like, okay, well, here we go. Let's see what happens on the snatch. You know,
right.
It was awesome.
I thought it was great. And some of the times we saw out of here did not disappoint. Matt DeLugas was my horse to win this, but I tell you what, Anthony Davis was not far behind.
Dude, seriously.
DeLugas with a 219, Davis with a 220 on the women's side. Danny Spiegel ties with Ellie Turner at 303. Laurel Horvath at 308. She ties with Tia Toomey also at 308. But man, just a cool, fun finish. And like I said, if this was at, say, regionals and your top 10 going in the final, there's 5 spots open, everyone has an opportunity to win it or to lose it, what that scene would have been like, there would have been some massive pacing failures.
It's 100%. Like if you're lined up, if this would have been an event that like mattered and you were lined up with someone, the pressure, like, okay, you got the top 10 out on the floor in the final heat and the points are close and everybody has to throw caution to the wind. Like you can't just go, well, all right, let's hope we do okay on this one. Like if everyone had to roll it, oh my gosh, like old regional style, dude.
So sick. Like
it would have been just
matches in each section and then move it up and then move it up. 2-2-2-2-2.
Insane.
And you know what Tony would have done is they would have like snatched it twice and just walked over to the next box and then touched it.
Yeah, totally.
The old George Sanchez. Remember that shit from
oh my god, so good.
Regional, I think in 2018 or something like that.
But
yeah, Annie pulling 1,700 cows plus on the rower is beast, but then watching DeLugos pull near 3,000 was also beast. Just some beastie performances in top to bottom. It was really cool. So let's look back at the programming overall. This was about a 2 to 3 minute workout for your top athletes. And if we go back to event 1 and we just go through this is event 1, it was lunges and handstand push-ups. It was weightlifting with 3 different movements. It was gymnastics with 3 different movements. It was a squat and a push, 6 to 8 minute range. Event 2, a triplet. You had 3. It was basically a gymnastic triplet. GHD sit-ups with the core, ring muscle-ups with a pull and a push. That's back-to-back pushes, and then alternating pistols with the squat back-to-back there. So there's some interference, and there's nothing wrong with redundancy. Let's be clear there. Redundancy like JT or something like that, like that's part of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Event 3, those are both 6 to 8 minutes. Event 3 is about a 13 to 15 minute one. You had your monostructural shuttle run, you had your pull on the rope climb, and then your weightlifting squat push or squat press with the wall ball shot. High volume, high repetition. I would say high intensity for the duration of which it was. There's really no time that you could take a break. And the fact that people were going 13 to 15 minutes is quite
unreal. They were flying.
Just nonstop the whole way through. But I think it was cool because the programming was so structured. Like to get to 24 and 32 was really not that bad. And then on the way down, like, shoot, I think it was one of those is like what's Helen becomes is Helen, once you get to like the elite level, becomes a running workout.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so like this one, 32 wall ball shots is your highest set with a group of athletes that can all do Karen Unbroken, some with a 30 and 20 pound ball, which is batshit insane to me. Travis Mayer. Then it becomes shuttle runs.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And I think the wall ball positioning with that forward receiving position takes away from rope climbs, I think, more than people realize.
Yeah, because the lats are on trying to keep that ball, you know? And I think it was really like that run just was so sneaky. I mean, because you can, even over the course of that distance, and I think it ends up being like about 1,000 meters, just over 1,000 meters, I think. If you had just that distance for people to run, you could have people making up a lot of distance. But because of the start and stop, like it's really hard. There's only kind of like 3 different speeds that people can go. One is they're all out and you're really not going to gain a whole lot of distance on anyone. That's what these guys that are all doing the 13, 14 minutes on. Then you have the other ones that like they could do half of them okay speed, and the other half they're like trying to rest because they're on the way back down. And the other people are like on the bottom end of the 10% that are like they're just shuffling their way through the whole thing. It's like literally one of those 3. So it was really hard. It really put the emphasis on, okay, you got to do all your rope climbs. Like you touch the ground, you go right back up. All your wall balls have to be unbroken. So I love the tweak that it did.
Yeah.
Even though it may have gotten a lot of people dizzy as they were running around in circles.
Whatever, right?
Whatever.
Now, if you know how to shuttle run appropriately, you won't get dizzy. But
right,
it's like doing burpees over the bar in one direction.
Yep.
That's a you problem, sir, madam.
Yep.
All right, so we have that, and then we go to the other total, as me and Bill like to call it, the CrossFit total. Your pull squat with the clean, your push with the bench, and then your overhead squat for those 3 liftings. So we had a triplet gymnastics test in event 2, and we had a triplet weightlifting test in event 4, and we had a shorty workout in event 1 and a tolly workout in event 3. So maybe some individual gripes that I had 1 in 1. There's actually balance so far all the way through. And then we come to event 5, which is one of those full send, max intensity, a level that not a lot of CrossFitters maybe touch on a daily basis. And that sprint to the end, you had the monostructural with the row, the gymnastics with the burpee, which is both a push and a jump when it comes to that. So another 2-parter. And then you have the snatch, which could be power squat up to you at a moderate weight. And what I love that you said, referring to event 3, is there's really 3. Now you look at it, you can see there's 3 different athletes being tested here with the programming. Or the programming is designed that there's 3 demographics that all get theirs.
Yep.
So for the semifinal games athletes, this is just how fast can I go? How efficient can I move? Right? My little 5 workout test, which I did in a day and a half, and I pieced out and went back to the rest of my training. And then you have that middle ground demographic that are some of the best athletes in the gym, and these are just good tests. They couldn't touch and go with the snatches at the end. They had to steady their burpee box jump overs, right? They couldn't full send the shuttle runs. They had to be very cognizant, maybe take a break or 2 in the wall balls. They had to work through a pacing strategy for the handstand push-ups. Like that's the second demographic, and they got an appropriate test for their skill set. And then you have that demographic that just got in the quarterfinals, right? Their sole goal was to get here. And now that they got here, the programming was set up that they still got to play.
Yeah.
It wasn't strict handstand push-ups first in event 1 that just made you sit there and be like, well, shit, now I made it so I get to not do event 1. That wasn't the case. They put muscle ups at the end in workout 2 for the round. So you gave yourself 10 to 12 minutes to try to get maybe your first one or a couple of them. The wall ball, rope climb, shuttle run was just a good workout for everyone. Everybody can do those. And who doesn't like doing rope climbs in the middle of a workout? And then the total's the total. You get a good little test here of three different types of strength application. And then the last one's a full send. You either could touch and go the snatches. You can either singles or challenge your technique and efficiency, or like your athlete, maybe you had a PR the last barbell, but welcome to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, totally.
And I thought it was, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself as far as my Element 26 thumb tape review. But I'll just say it right now. 2 effing thumbs up. By the way, 2 effing thumbs up, Boz. Because this is Boz's programming. And I don't know why we had this like massive announcement of Boz programming the games. We already knew that.
Right. We
already knew he was doing quarterfinals. We're like, what? Which I obviously jumped on Instagram and was like, shut the F up. People like shitting on Boz. Like, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I will say that this is a massive improvement, like night and day, black and white difference between, last year's and this year. Even honestly, in all honesty, between the open and this, like it's appropriately set. I think that the test itself is thorough enough. It's what it needs to be. It's not a like, even though we talked about in the open that it's like, we just need to get the 10% to the next piece. That's fine. And I know that that's the goal and the purpose of the open, but it could have been, it was missing pieces. Even though this is accepting 3 different types of athletes, as you just said, and it's still a qualifier, and we still want people to play. We still want to be able to push people appropriately. It did that perfectly. It was well-rounded. It hit all the things that we need to hit. There was weight that was in here. And I don't mean like just because we had the total in here doesn't all of a sudden mean that like, well, now it's heavy. It was the whole thing is not about lifting a heavy barbell. It's about having appropriate weight relative to the field. Now, granted, if you have a beast that's in there, a 315 deadlift or whatever is not heavy to them. That's light to them. To the general, that's going to be heavy, though. That's going to be relatively heavy. So I like the fact that we had 3 heavy barbells to throw in there, and it was scored correctly because you had to add all 3 of those together. Yep. You had a good weight for the snatch. So we already know kind of what some people were hitting on the overhead squat. Now you had to move the barbell with a moderate weight. And I think that weight is a good weight to push your higher end athletes. I mean, yes, they're going to be going touch and go on that, but it's still a weight that they need to think about to move, as well as the rest of the 10%. You had an appropriate number of ring muscle ups in gymnastics and handstand push-ups at deficit and the rope climb. So you had good gymnastic skills in there, and honestly, they were increasing in difficulty all the way through. So you got to have all 3 of those different level of athletes figuring it out and getting their position and getting their pay to play. Literally, the only thing that I would change out of this whole deal is I would take pistols out of the program. You remove that piece, and you turn that into an AMRAP like we talked about earlier. And I think this is honestly one of the best qualifying stages of events that the games have put together.
Totally.
I mean, the stepping thing on the lunges, I mean, okay, whatever. I just think that that's kind of a weird nuance.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that that's a downplay to the programming. As far as the programming goes, I mean, even with the pistols in, I'll still give it 2 thumbs up because I think it's that good. But you take the pistols out, because one, it's again, online program, online event. So pistols become a very difficult movement to really appropriately judge from a camera. All you got to do is wear a baggy shirt. Like that's all you got to do.
That'll be our next topip of discussion. Our next, not topic, like we'll address it here in just
I mean, you have those sort of things. Like you remove that one piece out. you didn't lose anything in the program because we just did single leg stuff right before that.
Mhm.
But I mean, overall, I think that they did a great job. The events were fun. They were fun to watch. The athletes that I had that did it, either my in-house athletes or other athletes that are around that I do remote programming for, they all had a blast. They all were stoked. So I think they did a great job. I'm way more happy on this set than I was with the Open. I mean, hands down.
Totally agree. And yes, the two little things to change. Set a distance for the lunges in event 1.
Yeah.
Take out the pistols in event 2 and make it an AMRAP, and let's go.
Yep.
But even without that little armchair quarterback, tiny, I'll just say preference.
Yeah.
Just a preference, and it's just an opinion. Great year.
Yeah.
Absolutely great year. There's no person on this leaderboard that I can say they made it only because this, or they didn't make it because they didn't have that. Can't say that.
No,
phenomenal.
It was an appropriate test. It was a well-rounded, appropriate test. And again, we always talk about like what's the job? The job is to get not just the masses to the next level, but the right athletes to the semis. And every single one of these events, you could see where each one of those 3 athletes were going to be, where your semifinalists are going to be, where your top dogs in the gym are like the local hometown heroes are going to be, and where the people who are like, oh my God, I just made it this year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they all got to do their thing in each one of those events in the qualifier, because it's programmed to do what it needs to do, meaning there are those steps that increase all the way through. And I think if you look at every single one of these events, it has that. It has everyone gets to play. Now it gets a little harder. Now let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
All the way through, every single one. It's awesome.
Totally get it. No, totally agree. Mike had a question about the age group online qualifier. It's the quarterfinals. It's the Masters quarterfinals. It's not called that anymore.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do with the 70-pound dumbbell? We'll touch on that when the floor plans get released in a couple weeks. So next Monday, the floor plans are going to be released for the team competition, of which Bill and I will come on, walk through them, give us our guesses of what the programming will be. And then 2 weeks after that, it'll be the Masters and teenagers turn. We touched on this subject really early on, and let's go through it really quick. So CrossFit released basically the list of penalties that were assessed. Again, none of the results are official until Friday, but here I'm just going to try to scroll if you can see this.
I can see it.
Here's the list. All right. And as we see this list, let me just say what these all say: single leg squat, single leg squat, single leg squat, single leg squat, blah, 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 single leg squat, more. I'm scrolling as fast as I can. Look at all this crap. And you know why? Because you programmed a single leg squat in an online format, of which we said a couple of years ago in the Open that is a very tough thing to put in there when you're judging off a camera angle with one person. Pistols are a very, very hard movement to judge in person. Yep. We saw that at the CrossFit Games, and there were judges judging discrepancies across the board with the most elite movers in the world. And then you throw this in an online format where you get one camera angle from the side, so you can only see 50% of the reps. Or if they did it from the front, you can't see anything.
Nope.
As far as putting this in the Open or the quarterfinals, I said this before I would have thought until, was it 2019 or 2020? They were never going to put pistols in an online qualifier, not because of the movement, because of the ability to judge it.
Yeah.
And
why make it so difficult to do that? Like, if you were going to, that's part of the thing that you have to think about when you're programming is, all right, if this is online, we have to make sure this is what the burpee thing was supposed to be. When we said you don't have to have the 2-foot takeoff anymore,
right?
We want to make it easier to judge. Just get over the bar. A 2-foot, have your feet in the air at the same time. Blah blah blah. Whatever. This is a hard movement to judge. It just is.
These are 95% of all of these. hip and knee extension on the single leg squat, hip and knee extension, like this 95%. If there was no better proof, like we talk about empirical data, get rid of pistols in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Put them in the semifinals, put them at the CrossFit Games. I have no problem with pistols at all. Zero. But when you put it in this format, this mess of time, like for anybody, just do it for your judge team.
Yeah.
Like you forced these volunteers to look at this shit for days, come on, a couple of weeks. And like, I just don't think it's necessary.
When you can get the same stimulus and figure out get the same results from the test that you're trying to get by putting someone else in there. You don't need it, you know?
Yes. And so like, that's my only thing is like, one, we didn't think they were needed because we just did 150 lunges in event 1, and this was event 2. And the AMRAP idea that you had 10 minutes of what we say 30 and 10 or 20 and 5 or whatever between GHDs and ring muscle ups. Great. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. So that's just one thing we're going to touch on. Again, does it screw up the programming? No. Was it an unnecessary mess?
Yes.
Right?
That one movement put that entire judging team under hours of duress. And put the athletes into like, oh, now I have to do, and is this going to put, and where's it going to go? Just take them out. Yeah. You don't lose anything by taking them out. Nothing.
And even harder, it's not like they're watching me do pistols and it's like 1, 2, you're like, oh, that wasn't low enough. Like you're watching Noah Olson, you're like, what, fuck, how many? Oh, too fast. Like pistols are so easy for these athletes, it's almost unnecessary.
I don't think they would want to pick Michael. Maybe they just want to see how big of a mess it would really be. Well, they found out if that was the case.
Pistols in the quarterfinals is the new kettlebell swings at regionals.
Oh my gosh, totally.
That would be the thing, right? There's nothing wrong with a kettlebell swing, but there is. Don't ever program it for the open.
It's like, why?
It would just be a mess.
Yeah,
an absolute mess. Kettlebell swings are an amazing movement. I love them. Hinge, pull, get it over your head, but like just a mess. Should be, well, okay. Corey says, should they be able to pause and slow down the videos if they can't in person? Yes. But now you're asking me like frame by frame, a pistol times 90 times another 90 of video. Like that's just, again, that goes to like that question exactly is why that shouldn't, just don't put it in there.
Yeah. Why? Could you imagine how long it would be? Look, all that list of people that
I was
having to go frame by frame. No way.
I mean, we had a video judge, online qualifier video.
Worst thing I've ever done in CrossFit.
God bless those that volunteer to do this, or even if you get paid. You couldn't pay me enough. Well, you probably could. I take that back. You could, but even then, I would still
be a lot longer.
I would
nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Say this: if you want nobody to qualify for an online stage competition, don't have me and Bill judge it. Because we did that. What was it? It was for a master's teen competition that we actually programmed for. Yeah. And we got sent 20 videos, and I think we said one of them was good, and we told all the other ones they were disqualified.
It was so bad. we went back to the team that was leading up the whole competition. We're like, so how many athletes do you want in this competition? Because as of right now, I don't have any.
I've canceled all of your submission videos that you just gave me. Everyone I've been on the video team, definitely didn't get paid. Emotional damage. Yes. Like 100%. HQ, don't even listen to me and Bill, because this is a matter of opinion. Do your video review team a favor. Do Dave Eubanks a favor. And they have to assess all of these penalties based off someone's pistol count. Like, just get rid of them.
Because here's the thing, and this is not about I'm trying to cheat. You will find a way to short whatever line as possible. And so, like, if it's a video review, guess what? If you don't want people to really see you, you wear dark clothes. You work out in front of a dark background. You have the door of your gym opened up behind you so that you are just one big shadow.
What are you talking about? Bro? That is a very specific.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm not actually doing one specific, even though there is one you're talking about. But those are all of those things that, like, why, if those aspects are gonna be there, then it's in your best. It does your team the best and cause you the less heartache to know that those things are going to happen. And be like, all right, how are we going to see it? Unless it is that you design your floor plan to look exactly like it's supposed to look. And you have to have the camera. I know they tried that one time where it said the camera has to be up like between 30 and 34 inches or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, there are different things like, so, you know, all these different things. But anyway.
We're not naming names, Christine. We're not naming names.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, okay, Danny got called out because Danny's Danny, but
Spiegel, you're saying,
yeah, but she's not the only one.
No, she's not.
I mean, like that. She's just a big name. That's all. She's just a big name, you know. And so obviously they're going to look at that. But I mean, there are a lot that happens a lot. So it's just hard. Like video submission stuff is rough. It's really, really rough. And then you always have the, you know, that's the whole, I have my judge, even at, like in the old regionals. And then the head judge would come around and would correct the judge that you have. And it's like, okay, well, who am I playing to here? The head judge or my judge?
Exactly.
So, you know, and again, that's not cheating. That's just, you just, as an athlete, you will try to find the shortest way within the rules possible. That's all.
And for the record, so this whole list, none of these people we are saying cheated.
No.
None of these people were saying cheated. Zero.
They were going fast.
They were going as fast as they could because the movement was super easy. If it was 30 air squats, we would see the same thing. And we would come on here and say the same thing. It's like, you don't need to put gray movements in an online qualifier. That's why you don't put push-ups in there. Like could you imagine they programmed Cindy?
Oh my God. Hey, and throw Wex up here real fast.
Where
seriously. Okay.
Right.
This is the worst line in CrossFit right here. Does or does not have the capacity to do the movement fast.
Bill.
We are not allowed to use that quote ever again.
The Voldemort quote.
That's the quote that we shall not say ever again. Because the second you do that, it throws everything off. And this is not about can they show capacity or not, whether we're trying to qualify. It's did they do what was asked of them or not? Not do they have, because otherwise they're all badass athletes. Of course, they don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
It's not the question.
Like, did they have this problem last year? Not really, because they had 180 of them. They had to move a little bit slower.
A lot slower. Yeah, totally.
Oh, let's see. What is that? Yeah. Okay. What is this? I don't even see what that is.
The bats.
Oh, okay. I'm not addressing that. I know what that is. I know what that is. All right. So we just wanted to touch on that. Because, you know, just don't make it harder than it needs to be.
Yep.
After that little segment, I just want to say, Adrian Bosman and company, you guys effing crushed it.
Dude, yeah, you guys
crushed it. And compared to last year, you look like the greatest programmers to ever walk the earth.
It was awesome. It's awesome.
And I love Dave.
Yeah.
But that was not good. You know, I'll say this. When we say CrossFit is going to try something some year, look, last year's the first time they did the quarterfinals. They didn't know how the demographic would perform. They didn't really know who their demographic was. And so they programmed to a demographic beyond of what they thought was actually taking the test. And they absolutely corrected it in just the second year.
Totally.
Absolutely corrected it. So
which is what all programmers do. You try some stuff, you try to test. Programming is testing. We're trying to throw the test. Did the test work? Oh, we backed up on that part. Okay, let's make a fix. And we make it better, and then bam, nailed it. So I think they did great.
That's what the 5 EM class is for. We always tell you guys this. If you're in the 5 EM class, You will correct all of our mistakes.
There
You will succumb to the mistakes themselves, but you do this. So this quarterfinals is done for individuals, teams, and masters, and teenagers are coming up in a couple of weeks. For the individuals, things will finalize by Friday, and then it's on to semifinals. So I'll pose this question to you. CrossFit is going to program 2 semifinal events, and I believe they're saying there's going to be 6 total for every semifinal. There's 2 that all of them will do. They will all be the same, and then 4 where Cross is going to give them kind of a wireframe programming template. Of the 6 tests, which 2 would you like them to program? So, for example, I want him to program the long 20-pluser or the gymnastic handstand walk tests. Which 2 do you think are the most important ones to have? I would say, what is my saying? That similar, not similar. Standard. Yes. Thank you. God, Lord help me. Standard across all 10 semifinals. Which type of events would you want them to keep standard?
I would say their higher end gymnastic weightlifting movements. So like when they do, that way they'll be able to kind of have the corral on, okay, here's the strength-ish lift and the level of gymnastics that we want people to do, so that you don't have a semifinal that tries to get a little showboaty and throw something in there, we'll take the big shiny objects and we will make those. Mm-hmm. You guys can use the not so shiny, for lack of a better word. Yeah. They can do the long stuff, they can do the monostructural stuff, they can do, any of those kind of things. But if CrossFit says, okay, we want the big barbell movement and the big gymnastic movement, and they put that together, I don't really care what the time frames are. They can, okay. I figure they can do that. But then, I think they should have we want a short, we want 2 mids, mm-hmm. we want a long, and we want whatever, if they want to do a heavy thing or a specific, whatever, maybe 3 mids. Yeah.
So mine, I think that they should standardize across all of them is whatever the strength test is. Okay. I think that should be the same, because a max deadlift and a max snatch,
2 totally different people.
2 totally different tests completely. Yep. So I think that one, there's a lot more room for bias and volatility on a strength test. So I think CrossFit should program that one.
Especially if you do a single lift like that.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And so it's like, oh yeah, just do a heavy one. I was like, I think that's way too much freedom. Yeah. And I think we saw it last year. Right. How many different weird tests did we see on the strength side that had a massive different results based off this group that you're testing? So I want to see them program the strength one, and I want to see them program the final. I want the final to be the same at every one of them. Something like what we just saw.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And so now coming into the final day of every event, like the last one's going to be the same. And now we are like getting excited about it. I can't wait to see what the Torian Pro finale looks like with their athletes. Yeah. Right? I can't wait to see Tia Cara and Ellie go boom, 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 boom. Right. I want to see the final then at all of these different semifinals, as opposed to like, well, that's a dumb final.
Plus,
that's a short final.
A really cool thing on that too is that it ties all of the events together. Even though that CrossFit is going to be putting 2 events in each one. If they do that, then now they just grouped all of those events in one big band. And so it's all that, like, now we have that community aspect of all of the competition. So even though they may have had their own flavor, they all finish together. They all finish in the right. That's a cool idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And as far as the strength test is like, I don't want it to be a single lift. That's boring. Right. Here's the thing. The question that we already talked about our assessment of the open in the programming, so we're not going to touch on that now. But now we have stage 1 done and stage 2 done. These stages carry on to semifinals, and they want that too. So in the semifinals, we don't need to test another max weight.
Right.
We already did that 3 times. At the semifinal, I want Cross to come out and is like, hey, clean speed ladder 2.0 or whatever, clean thruster or speed thruster ladder. Like we've been waiting for something like that, or speed shoulder, whatever, right? Throw a ladder in there. and the ladder's the same. And so now it's like, hey, how fast can these guys and these girls go at this semifinal? Right? And then you get to practice them, so people are going to get better. I don't want to see a 1-rep max, but whatever the strength test is, I think that should be the same. Because even they said, hey, just do a ladder. It's like, okay, we're going to do a deadlift ladder. We're going to do a thruster ladder. We're going to do a shoulder overhead ladder. We're going to do a bench press ladder. And that's a mess.
Yep.
It should just be this ladder, whatever. I think ladders are some of the most fun events to watch anyways.
Yeah, I think that you have to have control of that. So I think that's a great, I agree with that. That's what I meant when I was talking the weightlifting thing. I think that they need to control that across the board. That's why I said also the gymnastic thing, because that way they get to set the template for the same idea, to like what sort of athlete should be getting through, rather than it being some sort of a showcasey thing.
Yeah. Totally.
But like make it to where you can put it towards the end like that, because I love the idea of everyone doing the same final too. That's super cool. Yeah, super cool.
But I see what you're saying, the gymnastics. So for example, let's say Renata's quit pandering to Bill.
That's right, Renata. You know what's up.
Bill Grunler.
You know what's up.
Yeah, Bear Complex. Bill Bear Complex Grunler. But say they don't program the gymnastics one, but like, hey, we want one of the events to have handstand walks in it, but they all have to have an obstacle, and they get like, Rogue is going to supply, like, part of Rogue's involvement is they all have like a Rogue setup, and they get to pick and choose. But I wouldn't want one semifinal to have an obstacle and the other one to have no obstacle. Like, that is I think that is too much freedom and liberty to be taken in the programming. And that's just a little thing. So to your gymnastics one, I think at least it's like, hey, program a gymnastics one. This must have handstand walks, wall balls but do whatever you want. No obstacles allowed.
Yeah.
Right. Something like that. I'd be curious to see what I'm curious to talk to Boz and see what the wireframe is going to be. I mean, why can't you tell us once the workouts get released? Hey, what was we'll see. I think he'll be very open in that discussion.
I think that'd be cool. That still leaves a lot of room to move, so without saying anything. So.
Oh my gosh! Did you see what Corey just threw up?
I want to try that actually.
Wolverine Complex.
I have to try that just because of the name now.
So what would a snatch grip complex be? So would it be power snatch, overhead squat, snatch grip, push jerk, overhead squat, snatch balance? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something. What would it be? So a bear complex is power clean, front squat, push press, back squat, push press. So the snatch version would be power snatch,
overhead squat,
snatch balance,
overhead squat,
snatch balance. That's a lot of overhead squats though. So maybe behind the neck push jerk. I don't know. SOTS press. Ooh.
Oh damn! Well, that just changed. That just made it all about that right there.
So an empty barbell is what you're saying. Right. An empty barbell. That's funny. All right, so
that's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I guess we'll have to try that.
I'll play with that.
Look towards Bill's Instagram. You can see his handle on his screen right there. If you want to see the Wolverine complex, man. Listen, guys. Thanks for our slow start, because technology is hard for masters athletes. But we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys hanging with us today. God, 67. You guys are crazy.
Dude, you guys are crazy. I love hanging out with you guys. It's so much fun.
I don't know why we didn't do this sooner, but I want to thank you guys for rolling with us the whole time. I want to thank you guys for listening and supporting the show. And just thank you guys for being a part of this community. We're here to hang with you guys. We want to add some value. We're not trying to tear people down to build our names up. We're trying to add to the community, give our opinions on things, but also give ways to make it better. So we want to thank you guys for joining us today. Next episode, what do we got? Because we have a week. So Monday, the team floor plans will get announced.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it comes out on Monday, we should probably do the Tuesday.
Oh, I have one for you. I have an idea for you. Since the teams are coming up, I want to do a show on how to revamp the entire team format to have alternates a part of the competition, almost like subs.
I think that'd be a quick show. The answer would be like, okay, what do you think? Yes.
Yeah, no, but how?
All
Like, how
right.
would you structure it? You know?
Okay.
Like, how many substitutions do you get? Like, I think that'd be a kick-ass show.
Okay.
So, what's your Thursday look like?
This Thursday? Let me look. I have to look.
All right, look us up.
Hey, you know what? Hey, real fast. Check this out. You know what I'm doing this weekend?
What?
I'm emceeing a competition with Dylan M in the Valley here.
What?
Yeah, we're
With
doing that
Dylan?
MC deal. Yeah, they
No
flying him out to
way.
do it. Yeah,
What are you guys doing?
we're emceeing, and dude, I'm totally nervous because I'm cool to do it if it's just me. But he's like, this is what he does. I'm like really nervous because I don't want to mess
You've
up
done
his
it
flow.
before? You've done it before?
No, I have, but like
It's
like
different.
when I'm an MC, I MC kind of like a horse race like guy. Like because I'm a commentator.
Mhm.
So I kind of commentate as I'm doing it. So it's more like lane number 4, so and so is doing this and they're lifting. They got 4 more reps. So I call that way rather than I'm not like a hype guy or anything. So and I don't know their back and forth flow very well. So I'm hoping that I don't fuck up his flow too much. But I'm excited, man. I get to hang out with Dylan. It's gonna be awesome.
That's cool, man. Oh, I love
Yeah.
Dylan. He's a good dude. I say you just fuck him up on purpose and just do it constantly and just until he says something. But here's the thing, like Dylan is so nice.
I
He'll
know he's
probably
not going to
won't
say
say a
anything,
thing, right? Like every time he talks, just try to talk over him. Or
I'll have to go back to like Mike or Larry and be like, hey, so what Dylan say? And they're going to be like, dude, he said you suck really bad.
purposely just screw with him the whole time until he said something.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. It'll be fun though.
That's really cool. We'll have fun with that. You guys have a great rest of your week. We will let you know on our social media platforms. Mine is at Chase_Ingram. Billin is at, or Billin. Wow. Bill is at Bill Grunler. Oh, what city is it going to be in?
I think it's in Bakersfield. It's in the Valley.
In the Valley. God, you sound so California when you say that. It's in the Valley.
Bro? It's in the Valley, bro.
Go to the Valley.
Go to the Valley, bro.
Oh, thank you guys for joining the show. We will let you know if we've got something coming up prior to next week and the floor plans getting released. But that is our analyzing the programming of the 2022 individual quarterfinals. 2 thumbs up for me.
Same.
2 thumbs up for Bill. Boz, great freaking job.
Strong work.
Job. Can't wait to see what the semifinals have in store. But until then, guys, see y'all next time.